my third video on stupid people. I don't want to be known for doing videos on stupid people, but whatever. There's a lot of it about there's a lot to be said on the matter, because stupid people that have access to all kinds of stuff that affect other people, it really affects all of us in a really limiting way. But I've been talking about the causality behind that, because that's what I ask. I ask what is the meaning behind this, or how did this occur? How is the question I ask more than why? Why is kind of why you can keep asking why, down the line, and you'll it's a question that never quite meets an end, maybe, unless you feel the meaning of it. Maybe at the end of why is just the fulfillment of being. It's the apotheosis. There's a good word. The end of asking the question why is the apotheosis. So how is the question I ask? How do people get in power who are not in touch with reality? How does that occur? And I don't have an answer. I don't have any bit of an answer. I'm literally just honestly asking the question. It's not even rhetorical. I'm just I would love to know. I'd love to just hear people's thoughts on it. What do you think? Of course, it's all opinions, but it's worth talking about, I'd say. I don't want to talk about it too long, though, because it's discouraging to think about. But I think there's really people out there who are, and I was thinking about this last night, too naive to learn. It sounds like a ridiculous notion. I mean, maybe not naive is the right word, but too foolish to learn. Too limited of vision. And I'm talking internal vision, not necessarily physical vision. Too much of internal vision, or not enough internal vision to perceive the world in the consensus consciousness way, the way that all of us do, and have the same values in our humanity. And really what it comes down to, as far as the political leaders and the oligarchy in different countries, is dominator society is what it is. And what us the people are trying to do is have partnership society. I first heard of this concept through Terence McKenna, who mentioned it, and I just thought that is a brilliant way to say that. Partnership societies, to me, are all about community and equity of the individual, and that everyone gets heard and taken care of, that there's a place for everyone in society, which currently, as we know, that is not true as of yet. I mean, there's the homeless crisis. That's very ongoing right now. And then there's, adjacent to that, the housing crisis. I mean, there's a reason so many people are homeless, because it is a housing crisis. Even someone that's making just above minimum wage, well, a little more than just above, but I don't even know what minimum wage is. But I'll tell you, I'm not making $30 an hour, that's for sure. It's not feasible for me to buy a house. And I'm not even fully employed. It's more of a help out in this place. At least that's the way it's legally set up right now. And once the wheels of the business actually get going, I'm going to to be a full-time worker. So it's just crazy that you just have to be like renting rooms pretty much your whole life. It's crazy. And I think people get to the point they really do need their own space. At least a lot of us. But this is the way it is. And to understand how it got to be this way takes a mind that's more knowledgeable than this one. Because I've read articles on it, but I don't understand. You know, it's inflation, it's the economy, that's not very specific, but that's all I got. Anyway, yeah, there are a lot of crises here, and the housing crisis is very real here in the Pacific Northwest. I live in Olympia, for those that don't know. And so many people that I've known here in the almost 9 years I've lived here have either had to move out of the area completely, or they are like me and rent a room, or they were fortunate and got their house right before like prices went out of control. And actually, to be fair to my to everyone listening, I did at one point, like in 2016, 2017, I did own my own. It was a little bigger than a single wide, and fixed it up a little bit, and ended up still selling it for less than, or for less than I had bought it for. Even after doing some home improvements, like putting in like new linoleum in the floor, in the kitchen, and fixing outlets, and just other little small things that were completed by the last people that lived there. And I still lost money on that place. Well, also, the last people were able to get away with selling it with a condemned porch, which they didn't let me get away with. They saw it, and it was already in that state of disrepair, so I didn't really use the porch. And then they eventually, after an inspection, saw that it wasn't up to code, and then I had to tear out the whole porch. Definitely lessen the value of the place, because it was a pretty big, covered in the carport area. So anyways, it's just, everything is so expensive, and people still get taxed who hardly make anything and have to like pay a lot, even income tax. In my opinion, if you're making under 50 grand a year, you shouldn't be taxed at all. I mean, other than, I guess, sales tax, which is inevitable for everyone. Except for in the States where sales tax doesn't exist. But, like, we don't make enough for that. We need that money back, actually. Like, to enrich the economy. Like, people have to live, like, people have to have healthy lives. Like, so many people are miserable here. No one would spend this much time doing the same thing over and over if given the choice. If no one had to work and we just had, per se, an allowance of sorts, or we weren't so tied to money. Like, say we lived in a world where almost every tree bore some kind of fruit that was enough to sustain you. You didn't have to worry about food and stuff. We could go on to other things. We could spend so much time practicing other stuff and having so many other experiences. It's like people wouldn't do nothing. I mean, maybe some people would, but then they get bored to death and hopefully be inspired by someone or something to practice something new, to do something else, to make a change, to make a difference. And, you know, that opportunity isn't really available. That's part of the reason this life is so short, because you spend such a huge chunk of it working and sleeping, and whatever energy you have left at the end, that's what you got, and there's not much of that in the whole like fraction of things.